Good afternoon. My name is Frank Steffen. I'm the editor of Allgemeine Zeitung, and I would like to welcome you to today's edition of NMH at 1. This is obviously our news program where we bring you quick updates of what's going on in and around Namibia. So obviously today was a big day for the grade 11s and 12s. In Namibia they were all allowed to return to school after COVID-19, and they're obviously looking forward to taking up their school year quite late in the year now after having been away for more than 2 months. And then we also had Ricardo Gustavo. He is obviously one of the people implicated in the fish rot scandal, and he's got his bail appeal heard today. So we'll still find out what's going on there. And then Prophet Bibi, who's one of the accused in the rhino smuggling and rhino poaching case, which is being heard at the moment. He's also making his bail appearance today. Seems to be there was a bit of a hodgy-bodgy in court with his followers being quite agitated about the fact that newspapers and media generally were speaking about this or reporting about it. And then, obviously on both scores you will read more in tomorrow's papers. We also have a quick school video for you. Top of everyone's minds obviously is this return to school. And many learners complained about having to stand in the cold waiting for their temperatures to be taken. Wow. A learner of the higher technical school in Windhoek spoke to Yolanda Nel about this.
Grade 11 and 12 learners returned to school this morning for the first time since lockdown.
Can you maybe just
With minutes
put
to go
that
before
sound
the
on?
official day started, learners were still standing outside of the school premises for their temperatures to be taken.
And how do you feel about going back to school?
Because we want to finish school, we don't want to continue next year. I don't want to repeat the same grade next year, that's why. And yeah, that's all that I have to say for today.
Okay, what is your name, please?
My name is Shika.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your first day back to school.
Okay, thank you. Follow me.
Well, we all know it was a lot colder this morning again, but still I should think that that's the least of the problems. I think these guys have got their work cut out for themselves to be able to finish this year in time before December comes to an end. In the meantime, happening as we speak, they're opening, it's the official opening of the Windhoek COVID-19 isolation unit, which is being officiated by the president himself, Hage Geingob. He is there, so there was a bit of an altercation there as well, because they had invited all the media, and then obviously everybody wanted to go and report about it. And eventually the powers that be decided that no media is allowed except for NBC. And when one of the Namibian Sun journalists actually decided to simply walk in there, the police caught up with her, and it seems to be quite unceremoniously got her out of the place again. So we'll see what comes out of that one. As I said, it's going on right now. Then we also have a video from Kenya Kambove, who's our journalist of Namibian Sun up in the north. He's based in Rundu, and he spoke to aggrieved workers at Chinese businesswoman Stina Wu's Helmsman Group. Around 120 workers lost their jobs after a fallout between Wu and a subcontractor that labor inspectors found to have underpaid his workers. So the workers were employed by a Northern Land Civil Engineering, a subcontractor to Wu's Helmsman Group, for the construction of a housing project. Now, Northern Land was found to have failed to provide protective gear to its workers, whom it also underpaid. And the company then alleged that it was underpaying workers because the Helmsman Group owed it money. So the allegations of the use of inferior sand in the building process also surfaced as houses are being constructed with loam soil, which building inspectors say compromises the quality of the housing project. After much back and forth, the parties met behind closed doors, and minutes later they came out informing the workers about the decision to terminate the contract, resulting in the job losses. Now, we read this to you simply because the sound quality was not as good as we would have wanted to. Yes, and then moving on to today's headlines, we give you a bit of an insight into those. Republican reports on the reopening of schools, saying that almost 50,000 masks have been distributed countrywide to help ensure learners' safety. In the Allgemeine Zeitung, Mark Springer and Steffi Balzer hit the streets yesterday, and then they reported on the long rows of people waiting to buy alcohol, and obviously the reopening of the restaurants and all the implications of that. While besides the story on the job losses that we just spoke of in Namibian Sun, it also published an article on how the Ministry of Finance demands full reports from public entities, ministries, agencies and offices detailing procurement expenditure incurred during stage 1 of the state of emergency. So clearly there's a bit of an effort to enforcing accountability. Well, inside our dailies, we also have a Republican reporting on Namibia's support of the George Floyd's death in America and the insistence that a third party investigate Agriba's death. Obviously, you know that their CEO was suspended. We all reported about it. In the Allgemeine Zeitung, Erwin Leuschner from our Swakopmund office reports on the latest appearance of Jandre Dippenaar in the court. Dippenaar's lawyers feel that presiding Judge Gaynor Polton is biased in her opinion and thus requested her recusal, a request that was rejected by her yesterday. And then inside the Namibian Sun, Jana Marie Smith reports on the Rastafarian Frederick Friedel, who's asking the court to award him 1 million in damages because police officers cut his hair without his consent. He claims a further 400,000 for emotional distress. There you go. That's a way in how to earn some money. Then we bring you a further slide. Also included in our dailies today is the popular My Properties edition that focuses on the reopening of the Avani Hotel, as well as the pre-primary and grade 1 workbook on census. Quite important. Many people start relying on this insert. It reaches obviously into the deepest outskirts of Namibia. And then finally, a last slide, we obviously bring you our other dailies in Namibia. The Namibian reports that government ministers blocked plans by the state-owned diamond company Namibia to extend the contract of their middleman and global diamond dealer Neil Haddock, while the New Era reports that residents of Henties Bay have created a petition to consider removing the infamous gallows at the town, which according to some community members represent a dark era in the Namibian history. I think many of you who've been to Henties will know those gallows, and they've been there forever and a day. Right, and with that we come to an interview. It's an interview with tour operators Yvonne van Holtz and Rupesh Soni. They talk to you, Yolanda Nel, about the new Facebook page. Local tourism is Lekker in Namibia. They also discussed the effect of the pandemic, which it had on the tourism industry, and why local tourism is so important now.
Okay, so tell us about the Local is Lekker Facebook page.
You mean the local tourism is Lekker?
Yes.
Facebook page. Okay, it started on mid-March when international travel was already banned. In other words, international tourists couldn't come in any longer. And we as tour operators, we already started feeling the consequences. And that's when I had the idea of starting that local tourism is Lekker Facebook page. And I contacted New Pressure, and New Pressure had exactly the same idea. So we thought, well, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's join forces and start this page. And actually the only mission of that page is to get locals to travel, to support the tourism industry, because we should all know how important the tourism industry is as a whole, and in how far they are contributing to the economy as a whole, to the GDP, supporting other sectors. So we feel it is imperative that this sector survives, and the only way it can survive is if the local community supports it now, because borders are closed.
I think there was a lot of people wanting more specials. I think that was, I think finance was a big part of why locals are not traveling. And I know you had your hands full of answering all those questions.
Look, it's basic economics. If the lodges are full with foreign currency or foreign tourists, it's difficult to then focus on locals, because it's business at the end of the day. But also at the same time, there is no platform where one can quickly advertise a special for local if you have open nights, because everybody has different booking systems. Not everybody has a Facebook page. So it also makes it difficult. And, if you go to other countries, Germany or anywhere else, nobody says we are German, so we need specials. It doesn't happen in most countries. And here we are at least privileged that we at least have most of the places. If you call it, this is like I'm coming from Windhoek, people say, okay, yeah, we can give you a special for. But people have to call. You can't expect them to advertise for locals, because that's not the core market.
Exactly.
But in terms of the situation that everyone is in, it's also difficult to put it in perspective for most people, because nobody has been there in a position like this. And people don't realize that the communities, the rural areas around the lodges and campsites depend on these places to put food on the table. So, you're spending $200 at a campsite. It doesn't just go to the campsite, it goes to a lot of community around that.
Exactly.
And, it's about supporting each other during these times.
And tourism plays a crucial role in the economy of this country. And I think it's going to take a lot of time to come back to that, especially when the borders do open up again.
Absolutely. I mean, if you see, nobody has a strategic plan yet. No country knows when tourism will travel. Like travel coming in, especially. Europeans had a survey where they said this year mostly Germany, I think, said 1% maybe might travel outside Europe. The rest are going to travel within Europe. So it's something that we have to deal with. It's a fact. It's a reality. Unfortunately, a lot of people haven't realized the impact of it yet.
And I think only in this time have we realized how many people are dependent on this tourism.
Yes, and the sad part of that is that there are still some who are oblivious to the fact of the importance of tourism. And that's where you get, the few that come with that statement, why now? Why should we support tourism now? Now we're good enough. Whereby tourism has supported almost every sector before COVID-19. And I think now is the time to just show some gratitude and say thank you. I'm going to support you now, help you to survive because it's important for the country that tourism survives. Because if tourism goes to its knees, it's going to have one can't even imagine what the impact is going to be if tourism goes. And it's already happening. I mean, there are so many lodges that are closing their doors. There are so many tour operators that just can't carry on. So support where you can, and not only tourism. I mean, this counts for other enterprises as well.
And I think Namibia should count ourselves lucky because we can travel in our country at the moment, where even South Africa you can't do
That's why
that.
another thing is, like 2 weeks ago at the long weekend, I mean, most of the places were completely packed. And we got so many messages, emails, phones saying from lodges and campsites saying thank you so much, and we've got almost 2,000 specials now, 2,000 posts posted there.
Wow.
And that is just growing because people know you come there, you find specials, and that's it. There is no other distractions. And this is how we foresee using it going forward. Even if tourists come in and people can say, okay, you know what, this weekend we've got 2 rooms available on Friday night. Now we can offer local specials.
Yeah.
And that's how we want to see social media being used going forward. And there will be, I also presume at least 20% of the companies might go back to their original prices because that's a business. They have to sustain themselves. There's big overheads.
And they have to make up for the losses.
They have to. It's economics. But they have to be grateful. I mean, we have to be grateful that, we shouldn't, the word for it, what is the word? We too demanding. If somebody gives 50% discount, we say, no, it's still too expensive. Then we need to look at ourselves and see, okay, where should we go?
Exactly.
You can't expect big lodges for free or cheap.
Exactly. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Right, there you have it. 2 people who are very much involved with the tourism sector, trying to just liven it and breathe new life into the whole industry. Hopefully they get far with their efforts, and I think we all have every reason to support that effort because so many of us are dependent on the tourism industry, either directly or indirectly. Yes, and that brings us to the end of today's show. Watch our channels and stay tuned because we'll continuously bring you updates of all types of news throughout the day still. And we finally present you a little snapshot of the weather you can expect tomorrow. Thank you for listening and see you again.